Boost Lab is a funded collaborative research and production space situated within the Institute for Creative Research at Virginia Commonwealth University School of the Arts in Doha, Qatar. We specialize in product design incubation, and we support designers who are motivated to commercialize the value of their creative insight. Everyone loves a distinctive, thoughtfully designed product, a unique souvenir, a quirky gadget, a clever hack, a treasured possession that adds a bit of joy to everyday life. As consumers of products, we surround ourselves with designed objects that contribute to the way we see and portray ourselves. Personal belongings and personal identity are inherently intertwined. In the words of Henry Ford, every object tells a story if you know how to read it. Designers and artists are uniquely qualified to produce artifacts that tell compelling stories, products that harness the spirit and ambition of a particular place and time. The ability to know when and how to monetize creative insight, however, requires a separate skill set and sensibility. The language of business sounds foreign, or straight up intimidating to many artists and designers. Incubators and accelerators seek profit potential. They work by narrowing and reducing options to arrive at focused, accessible solutions described in elevator pitches and sound bites. Artists and designers are trained to do the opposite, to expand and reframe, to resist easy labels and embrace ambiguity. The two approaches are not mutually exclusive, but to get from one to the other requires translation. That's where we come in. Boost Lab exists to bridge the gap between creative conception and commercial activation. We're a research-fueled launchpad for innovative, culturally informed products developed in Qatar. We're interested in developing different types of products, from quirky, locally inspired collectibles, the kinds of things that might not get made elsewhere, to scalable proposals with commercial potential, products that respond to marketplace demand and generate broad appeal. How does Boost Lab work? We provide structured mentorship, inviting individuals with promising ideas to become Boost Lab Research Fellows. Leveraging the resources of the university, postgrad research fellows are hired as part-time employees and are paid stipends to develop their product proposals in a sequence of time-limited phases. Completing defined milestones within each phase, they emerge with a market-tested prototype and strategy. As each product leaves the nest, new projects follow. Phase 1 features mentored, iterative development with cycles of testing and feedback by Boost Lab participants and members of the VCU Arts Qatar community. Designers envision packaging strategies and they test and refine approaches to messaging. Additionally, they prepare fabrication and dissemination strategies, complete a preliminary cost analysis, and compile basic market research, all under the mentorship of Boost Lab principal investigators. Phase 1 concludes with a report and presentation addressing each of these components. The maximum time frame for completing Phase 1 is 1 semester. Projects are evaluated upon completion using a rubric, and approved projects advance to Phase 2. Phase 2 supports refined prototyping, as well as more advanced packaging development with testing and feedback from potential customers outside of the Boost Lab. Designers shift into a project management mode. They prepare a partnering analysis, pursue intellectual property protection when appropriate, and develop a detailed production strategy. Phase 2 concludes with a report and presentation addressing each of these components. The time frame for Phase 2 is also 1 semester. Projects are evaluated upon completion using a rubric, and approved projects advance to Phase 3. Phase 3 provides support for small batch limited edition production, as proposed in Phase 2, and execution of the dissemination plan proposed in Phase 1. As products hit the marketplace, Boost Lab participants solicit, collect, and analyze feedback from actual customers, building useful data for future activity. Phase 3 concludes with a report and presentation summarizing and reflecting on the full cycle of project development. The maximum time frame for Phase 3 is 2 semesters, and the maximum time allowed to complete all 3 phases is 2 years. After Phase 3, post-Boost Lab, designers are prepared to make informed decisions about pursuing a small business startup, business incubation program, or licensing arrangement. I am one of 4 inaugural Boost Lab members. My collaborators include Stella Colaleo, Yongyong Wang, and Asma Darwish. We currently have an open call for new product proposals, issued during an exhibition that is currently on display in our university gallery. The exhibition features our first 4 products. The first of these is called Doha Takeaway. Designed by Asma Darawish, it began as a set of miniature collectibles consisting of buildings and landmarks commonly seen around town. The product evolved during its time in the Boost Lab into a set of souvenir magnets, described by the designer as follows. Qatar is constantly evolving and ever-changing. Inspired by the city's bustle and growth, Doha Takeaway's miniature landmarks, iconic objects, and distinctive buildings capture this particular moment in time, forming a portable, charming souvenir. Whether someone is a Qatari national, a longtime expat resident, or a tourist on holiday, this set of miniatures helps to recall the personal experiences, anecdotes, and local adventures that characterize this special place, all in a portable, stay-fresh container. A second product is called Shui X, a checklist embosser designed by Yan Gyeon Wang. Shui X began as a student project in an MFA course. What started as an effort to give form to concept, to give concrete form to a cultural observation, has evolved, through phases of support from the Boost Lab, into a product proposal designed for consumer appeal and utility. In Arabic, shui means a bit. Said twice, shui shui means bit by bit or slowly. Embracing the cultural attitude captured in these phrases, Shui X is a tool for planning the pace of the day ahead. Paper of custom length is fed between 2 rollers, which turn together embossing the word shui and a checkbox at regular intervals, creating a customized checklist. Shui X repurposes the to-do list, turning it into a reminder to take life one step at a time, to slow down, and to live in the moment. In the words of the designer, to give someone Shui X is to give the gift of time. The third product is called Gorgeous, designed by Stella Colaleo. Gorgeous and gorgera are related words from different languages. In English, of course, gorgeous means beautiful. In Italian, gorgera refers to the type of pleated collar worn by aristocrats in the 16th and 17th centuries. Connecting these meanings, Gorgeous hacks and accessorizes a spent glass container by adding a collar, giving an old jar new life as a vase designed for plant propagation. A dressed-up jelly jar, spaghetti sauce container, or orphan drinking glass sporting a tailored gorgera is transformed into something life-giving and beautiful. Prototyped in PLA plastic, but produced for sale using fired terracotta clay, Gorgeous is an all-natural set of 2 nesting forms that can be used together or separately. The concentric circular rings adapt to fit jars of different sizes while accommodating a wide range of plant cuttings, or even avocado seeds, supporting and protecting the plants while the roots germinate and grow. Gorgeous demonstrates the benefits of recycling, upcycling, reuse, and regeneration. Don't throw away your old jars, dress them up and turn your home into a sustainable indoor garden. The fourth product, which I designed, is a songbird feeder called the Seed Pod Mini, inspired by a local landmark called the Qatar Dovecotes. Dovecotes in Qatar reflect a proud tradition of interacting with and caring for wild birds. On farms across Qatar today, tens of thousands of doves instinctively return home to roost each night inside working dovecotes, providing nitrogen-rich natural fertilizer that is used to enrich the nation's sandy soil. I thought it would be interesting to make a bird feeder inspired by the dovecote, a portable dovecote. The research investigation sparked by that impulse predates the Boost Lab. Like so many things, it began in the classroom working with students. The things I learned along the way helped to shape the mission and methodology that formed the Boost Lab. In 2019, I taught my graduate program's digital fabrication course. I designed an exercise for students that taught them to use our 3D printers and laser cutters to make slip-cast ceramic bird feeders, inspired by the Qatar dovecotes. After the semester ended, I continued improving and simplifying the design from home during the pandemic lockdown. That development produced work I showed publicly in 4 different curated exhibitions and provided material for a peer-reviewed conference presentation and a paper publication. Along the way, in an effort to create employment opportunities for students, I created a plan to fabricate and sell a batch of prototypes, with the intention of funneling earnings back into the program. As that effort ramped up, the university's research office requested meetings with Qatar Foundation, our institutional sponsor, to make them aware of the initiative and to seek their input. I was invited to complete an invention disclosure. Like most universities, Virginia Commonwealth University manages intellectual property related to the commercialization of faculty work. On our Qatar campus, that oversight is provided by Qatar Foundation. By offering to engage the project, QF put its resources and expertise behind the work. The invention disclosure tested and defined the project's novelty. It asked, what distinguishes this strategy from prior art, the industry term for solutions already in the public domain? What features and distinctions characterize this as a unique and original approach? This was an important step because it required me to view and to describe the project differently from the way I normally talk about design in the studio or in an academic context. The research my argument reflected is that a gap in the bird feeder market creates an opportunity. On the one hand, the market is saturated with low-end, inexpensive bird feeders, products like this one from Ace that are built to convey functionality, even if they are made so cheaply that durability is an open question. Bird feeders in this category are utilitarian. Aesthetic considerations are secondary or irrelevant. At a higher price point, you can find really beautifully made, elegantly designed bird feeders, but they are often attractive at the expense of durability and function. The egg bird feeder by J. Schatz, for example, retails at $250 and is made from glazed ceramics and aluminum. To wash and refill the feeder, you bring it inside, turn it upside down, remove a pin from the bottom, slide the 2 horizontal perch rods out, and remove the circular tray. You wash each part, careful to keep the round ceramic body from rolling off the counter. After it's clean and dry, you hold the body upside down, fill it with seeds, and then repeat all of those steps in reverse order. Tray, perch rods, pin, and then rehang. Definitely nice to look at through the window, but kind of a lot to go through. By contrast, the Seed Pod Mini is smaller, lighter, and much simpler. It is made and assembled from modular parts, employing stacking geometry to minimize material and speed production. It is designed to be top-loaded and gravity-fed, making it easy to clean and refill. It's attractive but inexpensive, and it's very durable. It won't roll off the counter, and it won't break if it falls or gets dropped in the sink. The product is recyclable, lightweight, and durable. It is designed to endure Qatar's harsh sunlight and also the freezing winters of North America. Birds love it. In Qatar, it attracts flocks of Indian silverbills, a long-tailed finch that is acrobatic and highly social. Wild birds naturally pollinate plants and flowers, propagate seeds, and nourish the soil. By inviting songbirds into domestic gardens, the Seed Pod Mini gives people a reason to step outside and to interact daily with nature. The music of birdsong has been shown to reduce hypertension, to relieve stress, and to stimulate cognitive activity. Locally, we sell our working prototypes at Studio 7, Qatar's first design concept store, founded and run by Boost Lab research fellow Asma Darawish. Studio 7 is located in a new design district in the city called Masharab, and its elegant setting provides an ideal showcase for our products. Proceeds from sales benefit the store, the university, and our designers. In the next slide, I'll share video clips of local birds helping me, over time, to test a series of design improvements. This is an early nylon prototype with a large circular seed tray. To discourage birds from standing in their food and to give them more space to perch and socialize, I changed the shape of the seed tray. These early versions are filled by tipping the feeder upside down and removing the tray with a twist. Next, I designed a top-loading feeder, suspended from a twisting, removable cap. I began 3D printing the feeders myself at home. I added a handle to the cap, making it easier to grip and twist. I experimented with color combinations and striped layers, programming the printer to pause and change filaments at designated intervals. Finally, to make the feeders food safe and more durable, I switched to PET G filament before we began selling feeders to the public. In March of 2021, Qatar Foundation commissioned a market research study by Boston-based Foresight Science and Technology. Foresight reported that the U.S. market for bird feeders at the time was $1.7 billion per year, with annual growth of 15%. 4 in 10 U.S. households owned at least one bird feeder. Foresight advised QF that the Seed Pod Mini could fill a market niche priced under $50. In their summary, they proposed a 5-year plan with a first-year goal to capture just 0.002% of the market. and then ramp up to 1.5% by year 5. 1.5% of that expanding market would result in annual gross sales of $50 million. Based on the Foresight report, Qatar Foundation greenlighted the project and invested in a patent application, which was filed in June 2021 and awarded by the United States Patent Office this past March. It is the first design patent awarded to a faculty researcher at VCU Arts Qatar. To put QF's investment in perspective, with a license based on a 2% design commission, or 5% of wholesale, the license would return $1 million per year to QF. Portions of that money, according to the operating agreement, would be distributed to the VCU home campus, to VCU Arts Qatar, and to the designer. The standard yearly designer's cut, 1/3 of the wholesale commission, would be $330,000. The key to robust sales, of course, which will benefit Qatar Foundation, VCU, and the Boost Lab, is volume. As a result, since the patent was awarded, I've been working with engineers to prepare the design for mass production. We redesigned the feeder for high-speed injection molding, while maintaining its patent-protected features. By dividing the largest component, the seed tray, into 4 identical interlocking parts, we cut the package volume in half, reducing the amount of material consumed but also reducing the space each product occupies in the warehouse during shipment and on the store shelf. The tray is joined with a one-time snap assembly and then sandwiched between a vertical stem and a locking disc. The assembled tray and disc spin separately from the body of the feeder, allowing customers to adjust the size of the opening that releases seeds down into the tray. This feature accommodates a range of feed types, allowing customers to attract different bird species throughout the year. The feeder is opened by sliding the lid up along the suspension cable. After filling, tabs molded to the inside edge of the cap guide it down securely into place, and a rubber O-ring gasket ensures a watertight seal. A grommet in the top center of the cap provides a seal around the suspension cable, and holes in the tray allow rainwater to drain through without losing seeds. These features baked into the design files allow us to obtain accurate mold making and fabrication quotes from multiple sources, which we will use to attract licensing partners, conversations we are actively preparing to undertake with the university's support. The goal is to secure a deal with a producer who has the manufacturing and distribution capacity to meet the volume targets forecast in the market research report. What began as curiosity sparked by a local landmark inspired a sequence of lessons that formed the basis for a defined product development methodology. Now, with the establishment of supportive infrastructure, the Boost Lab is able to leverage institutional resources to foster research-fueled experimentation at the crossroads of business and design. We believe designers and artists are uniquely qualified to create artifacts that tell compelling stories, while addressing consumer needs in novel and innovative ways. Throughout the process, we support our designers' efforts to generate research dissemination, to pursue patents and other forms of IP protection, and to produce work they find meaningful. Not all Boost Lab products will chase numbers like the ones presented today, and not all Boost Lab product designers will be motivated to generate traditional forms of research dissemination. But we are committed to forging a pathway to success on terms defined by the individuals who choose to develop their products with us. We are motivated to establish professional pathways for designers that will position them to earn money into the future from sales of products they dream up and develop with us today. Thank you.